Hey guys, Tom itself here, and today we're not watching my gameplay. That's me being the silly sniper there. Instead, we're watching my good friend Shore86 play, and you've actually seen a lot of him on my channel, just not from his point of view. We've been playing together since COD 4. In fact, he helped introduce me to the Call of Duty series, and watching him play was one of the things that really did help me get better at the Call of Duty series, because coming from Halo, I really wasn't that good at this game. Now, while I find myself on the same tier of player as he is at this point, I've finally managed to get that far, he still kills about 5 people for every 4 that I manage to down. So, trying to understand how he's able to do that is still kind of a mystery to me. Now, granted, I do have a somewhat higher KD. My playstyle's just a little bit, I don't know what about it. But anyway, going and watching him play helped me understand what he's doing to put up those monster scores. Again, it's also, he's one of those people who, when he's in the lobby, the entire game can often just change, and because I play with him most of the time, I really notice when he's not in the game, because it feels completely different. The other thing that'll happen is I'll see where he's running to, or I'll see where he is on the map, and I'll just be like, yeah, don't need to be over there. Everything over there is going to die. Don't need to worry about it. It's good, because just about anything he can see is going to die, and if it gets past him, he will say something, especially if it's not showing up on the minimap. So there are 2 parts to this video. The first is this silenced Scar-l MOAB, and the second is some more fun, just screwing around gameplay with some aggressive tack-ins and RPGs. Now granted, things here are just a little on the slower side. He's not running around a whole lot, but he is holding down the route from Charlie to Bravo, keeping them from getting onto the Bravo flag, defending it very well. Okay, you can't see that most of the other arrows on the team are blue, but we know that he's got this side of the map, and well, anybody else over here is largely redundant, so we'll just let him have it, let him control it, and let him take all the kills that manage to come through. And for being the bloodthirsty killer that I remember from being in the game with and seeing on the scoreboards in the post-game, he's actually surprisingly patient. He knows where to go to wait, and then he knows when to stick his head around the corner and when to run away in order to get his kills and stay alive. Now, it's probably redundant to say, since I've already told you this is a MOAB gameplay, but he's never caught off guard. He's ready for every single person who's coming his way, and that motion sensor is one of the big things that's helping him out. He waits till the guy's in the room running around and doesn't have cover, strafes over either with Stalker while he's aimed down sights, or with steady aim, he's got the specialist bonus, and he takes the guys out. And when he realizes he's in a fight that he's not going to win, again, he just steps away, backs off. He's pushed up far enough to start with that if he backs up, he's still got plenty of room on the map to work with before they can get out, get around, and get to the flags. This guy's taking out his motion sensor, but I want you to watch the minimap carefully. He tags the guy. Again, specialist bonus, he's got recon. Look what that arrow does in the top left that he's tagged. Looks at C, and then he turns back around to look at the door that he thinks Shore is going to come through. And he's got another guy to deal with, but this guy is so cautious that he's not willing to just run right back into this room. Even after his health is regened, he's still waiting there. He's been tagged with recon, so Shore has a good idea where he is and knows that he's got just enough time to pick off the guy by the stairs before he needs to turn around and take out the other guy. And here we have a good example as priorities shift. There's no one at the top of this escalator, and we figured out as a team that letting them get out and around the top of this escalator means bad things for us. We need to keep them out of this area. There's simply too much cover, too many lines of sight, too much traffic, and we have to keep it clear so that we can move through the map. We'd rather have to go retake Bravo than have to retake the top of the escalators. Now, that wound up leaving the area down by the furniture store unguarded. It has to be kind of careful. He ran all the way back up to the top of the escalators, help us keep the area under control, and now he has to push back down into the furniture store. And pushing into an area to retake it is dangerous. But he's got a silencer and a recon pro, so he can tag them and let them make the first mistake, because he knows exactly where they are. They don't know where he is. This is, again, the specialist bonus is freaking amazing, and there's the MOAB. I suppose it's somewhat more difficult to judge in theater mode, but he's very accurate. That was a nice 3 kills right there at range with a silenced weapon. I wish I could do that reliably. Kind of funny, I've already posted a MOAB that I got where I did most of the stuff on the top of these stairs, working between the stairs and the escalators. Despite all the killing he's doing and trying to help us control the top of the escalators, we have lost it. There's no one in here except for him. So it's time for that MOAB. We'll clear off the map, retake Bravo, and finish out the game quite comfortably. And as we wait for this big explosion, let me talk about what the second half of this video is going to be. Now, when Shore's playing more aggressively, being a little riskier, and having some fun, he really likes to be aggressive with his tack-ins, and it's surprising where he gets away with putting them and respawning in without running into too many problems. I think in this gameplay he's working on what, 2,500 kill RPG title. just some of the silly things we do, and I don't know what to say. The RPGs are closer to COD 4 than they were in Modern Warfare 2. In Modern Warfare 2, you just shoot one into a room, it'd clear the room out. Here, explosions are much less powerful, and you pretty much need to put it right next to the guy, or he needs to already be injured to get a kill with the thing. So, and you only get two. You don't. Scavenger does not replace launchers, so for better or worse, getting a lot of kills with RPGs is rather difficult and time-consuming. I'm only going to show about half of this game. The latter part's kind of slow. There aren't a whole lot of enemies left. Now, the first part, Shore very heroically solo-capped Bravo with the assistance of some tack-ins. The rest of the team pushed up past it to try to keep enemies from getting to it, but we weren't entirely successful. Very good play, but not as interesting as some of the middle parts of this game. One thing that really stood out to me is something that I wasn't seeing in my own gameplay, was how often he catches them unprepared, completely unprepared, and is able to have time to do something, make a smart decision, rather than just trying to shoot back as fast as possible. Now, when I see a guy, I assume he's seen me or knows where I am, unless I'm very clearly in a position that they're not going to know where I am. Like, right there, I would never try to shoot people as they ran around that corner, because I expect people to be careful when they run around corners. No, he gets to gun both of them down as part of a double kill. So, especially that happens just in the middle of the map, even right off his tack-in. I'm sure he's quick draw because he's putting that tack-in down very quickly. One of the major bonuses to Quick Draw Pro. But here's one, just a guy running through the middle, doesn't even see him, and he's going to pick up several more where they're running through the middle of the map, showing up on the radar, not going to notice him, and he's just going to pick up an easy kill. And he somehow knows that he hasn't been seen, and he can ignore some of them, or just pick up the kill when he wants to. When I first watched, I was like, oh, it's got to be luck. And to some extent, maybe it is. But at the same time, it's happening frequently enough, he's clearly got something worked out and that I cannot explain. However, one thing that really comes back to bite him frequently is how eager he is to just run into a gunfight when he's not at full health. I guess there's something to catching a guy not expecting you to come back around the corner while injured, but it's not an uncommon trait among Call of Duty players. You're really putting yourself at a disadvantage if you run into a gunfight without full health. It really does not take a whole lot to kill someone in this game. And so, how eager he is to just keep charging, even when he's wounded, and even when he has a comfortable place to fall back to, is something that gets him killed unnecessarily quite a few times. However, I have a feeling that once he's fired both of his RPGs, he's not too worried about living, since the only way to get more RPGs in this game is to respawn. I hope you guys don't mind. I find them rather challenging to get kills with, at least reliably. And here, how did that guy not see the tack-in? One of the things about aggressively tacking in like this is that you want to remember where that tack-in is and where you were facing when you put it down, so that when you come back in off of it, you know where the guy who killed you is, or the guy immediately next to the tack-in is, and you can start putting damage on target before he's had time to react. That guy who's watching the tack-in isn't going to know when you're going to respawn. So, when you come in shooting, that's a nice triple kill, isn't it? It's entirely possible to get yourself out of a tight situation as you respawn on the tack-in. Just remember, if you need to be shooting, if you want to just throw your C4 and detonate it immediately, or you want to jump into the air, or respawn as a riot shield class, those are all options. And I think the end here summarizes things pretty well. Gets the 2 easy kills as they're running off the flag that they just captured. Takes his SMAW. Sure, are you going to kill that guy's friend again with his teammate SMAW? Really? And then ends up dying again because he's injured himself and is just too hungry for that kill. I hope this was interesting for you guys too. Noticed some things in Shore's play that I really hadn't noticed before just watching and being on his team. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you later. Now, 2 more recent videos of mine, also MOABs. a KSG and MP9 MOAB on Dome, and bringing out the heavy weapons, the M60 MOAB on Interchange.